All right. Go ahead, Lisa.
Hello, hello, hello. Happy, thankful Thursday to each and every one of you that's here today. I'm so excited about sharing this platform for you. On behalf of the founding members, B is an acronym for Black Economic Empowerment. And our mission is to provide a platform to distribute the wealth, to include, but not limited to, wealth of information, wealth of education, and wealth of resources. Now, allow me to introduce to you our founding members. The first founder is Wavette Johansson. Wavette is a powerhouse. I tell you the truth. If you walk across her path, your vision will be stretched. You're going to walk away with a wealth of vision stretching beyond what you had when you first entered her presence. She is a guru of over 20 years in the real estate industry, and she's a mover and a shaker in the life insurance industry. We also have Jill Johnson. Jill is a living benefits coordinator. She is an entrepreneur personified. She used to own restaurants. And I tell you the truth, as a multi-million dollar earner, if you want to know how to make money work, you want to definitely talk to Jill Johansson. She can tell you not what she read in a textbook, but what she has experienced from life application. And we also have Helena Conley. She is an insurance strategist and a guru of education. She is an educational provider, one that specialized in math. She has a multitude of degrees, and I'm really excited to know her, and I'm excited about some information that she is going to share with you today. In addition to that, we have another founding member, Anita Ferns. Anita has a background in engineering. That's my engineering sister right there, because I too have a background in engineering. But Anita has a background in engineering. She is a financial consultant, and she has helped to provide career opportunities for so many individuals, more people that are now stimulating the economy from the fruitfulness of her hands than anybody else that I know. I'm really excited to have her as a part of our founding members. And then yours truly, Lisa McCombs. I am an insurance education provider, owner of Academy Insurance Schools. I've had 8 locations across the country. I still teach, train, and develop individuals who would like to pursue a career in the insurance industry to help prepare them for the state licensing exam. So I provide not only the education of insurance, but insurance services as well. Now, let's talk about our speakers. Well, I'll save today's speaker for last, but I need for you to grab a pen and make sure you have a notepad handy because you want to mark your calendar for next week, April 22nd, a week from today. Miss Rhea Cotton is going to talk to you about how to invest in real estate out of state. That's awesome and amazing. How about that for generating multiple streams of income, not just within your hometown, but across the country? That's awesome. And on the 29th, 2 weeks from today, same time, same place, same Zoom ID number, we're going to have Mr. Chris Horton. For some of you who may have attended the February Black Wall Street series that we had throughout Tuesdays and Thursdays, and you heard Chris Horton, well, he will be back by popular demand. And I am so excited because he is the founder of the Black Inclusivity Project for Black entrepreneurs. He comes power packed with millions of dollars to give away to those that are looking to be an entrepreneur. So you do not want to miss that session. And we want to give special recognition to our sponsors. We have the Women's Council of NARAB, that has sponsored us, and we're really excited about that. That represents the National Association of Real Estate Brokers. We also have the OAACC, Oakland African American Chamber of Commerce, as well as America's SBDC, the Small Business Development Center of Northern California Network. So we're really excited. Now, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce to you who is going to deliver us some very powerful information today. I'm really excited about today's session because it happened to be one of my founding sisters. She has a background in education. She's taught math for many, many, many years. Her motto is to help to build economic empowerment. She has a love for building and elevating people to the next level, and she specializes in doing just that. She has a desire and a passion to help teach others, to help them. I call it leveling up. She's an expert in that. And when I asked this young lady, what was her favorite color? You know what she told me? One that happens to be my favorite color as well. She said that her favorite color is red. And so, you know what's so powerful about her favorite color of being red? That's a color of extremities. That's just an extreme, powerful color. It symbolizes energy. And I love to be energetic and be around others who symbolize energy as well. It symbolized confidence, courage, and change. She changed her career as an educator in the public school system to be able to help the masses of individuals to learn information that's not taught in the schools. So she participates in platforms as such to be able to share information that's so valuable to all mankind. Red brings upon passion and strength to your relationships, to your life. Spiritually, it affects you. Financially, it affects you. Relationally, it affects you. So be ready, ladies and gentlemen, to be affected by such a powerful guru in society. As we welcome Helena J. Conley to the stage, the way that we say welcome is by spirit fingers. We do this. She can't hear an applause, but she can certainly see this. So let's give it up for Helena J.
I was gonna say, I actually don't even mind if you unmute and give me some claps. I'm so ready to get back to a little bit of normalcy around here. So I'll take spirit fingers, claps, hugs, and everything else you want to give. I love it. I love it. I love it. I am a teacher by trade, so I do need the energy of the crowd. That is how I work. That is how I operate. I'll tell you guys, I do a lot of things, but my absolute favorite thing to do is to speak. It is my absolute favorite thing to do. I have a passion for educating people and impacting people's lives. So when I was asked to be our guest speaker for tonight, of course, I just lit up and said, let me give these folks the best that I can to make sure that we can help people with some things. So I'm going to tell you guys a saying that I quite often say in the classroom, out the classroom, whenever I'm talking to folks, right? How many of you guys believe that knowledge is power? Show of hands. You believe knowledge is power, okay? I see Mr. Moses didn't put his hand up. So you don't believe knowledge is power. You're on mute. Unmute yourself for me because I think you have what I have. Tell me.
No, I think something a little different than that. I think that the correct application of the right knowledge is power.
You just spoke my language. I say all the time, you guys, I don't think knowledge is just power. I think it's the application of the knowledge that is powerful. And I even like that other piece that you said of the right knowledge is powerful. So when the five of us ladies came up with BEE, it was very important for us and all of our careers to come together to be able to give information to people because we see a problem in our community. Okay, and I'm gonna go over a couple articles that specify some of the problems that I see in our community, which is where we came from or where we created Black economic empowerment. So let me share my screen really quickly. All right, here we are. to move all of these little things out the way so I can actually see. There we go. All right. So here, you guys can all see my screen. PowerPoint is showing clearly.
Yes,
Good.
we can.
Perfect. Thank you, Auntie. Always there for me. Just Auntie never fails me, you guys. She's always going to be in my corner. So you see here, this is our second series. Okay. As Lisa mentioned, we had a series for Black History Month, which was a 4-part series. And it's all about making sure that we bring the information to people so that they can not only fill up their heads and fill up their notebooks, but that they can actually apply the information, the tools, and the resources that we have for you guys in order to better your financial situation. And why is that so important to us? Well, our mission says here, I'm gonna have to move our pictures again. There we go. Our mission is, if you want to make a change in our community, then you have to be in the industry to change it. Okay, you guys, we have a whole year, rest of the year worth of stuff that we are planning for you all to make sure that we give you the best of the best in resources so that you can better your financial situation. And for us, we realize that being in the industry allows us to provide those resources, making sure that we are a part of the change, making sure we bring it to you. We've been a part of it. We've actually applied most of the things ourselves based on our own situations, and we just keep bringing it and bringing it and bringing it for you guys. And we have a big event coming up in June that we want to make sure that we get you guys a part of too. So for those of you, before I jump into it, that did not register, some of you guys hopped on here via your friends, make sure you guys register at www.joinbethemovement, BEE, themovement.com. We want to make sure you guys stay in the loop with all of our information. So here are these articles that I was talking about. And one was in 2017 and one was in 2019. And these two articles pretty much said the exact same thing. It talked about the Black wealth being at zero by about 2050, 2053. Okay, based on the trends that they see for us, that median wealth, that's a problem. Median meaning that half the people in the Black community will have a wealth of zero. Why is that? Because there's also statistics out there that say that we are some of the biggest, if not the biggest, community of consumers. So we're making money, we're spending money, but for some reason, our wealth and our worth is going down. That's a problem. So when we heard this and when we've applied this and looked at this over and over and over again, we knew that we had to do something to become a part of that crusade so that this does not happen to us. And as Lisa said, yes, I was a teacher for umpteen years. I taught math. I have 2 math degrees. I've taught every single level of math from college on down. And the problem, you guys okay? The problem that I have is that nowhere in the math system do we teach money. Personal finance, the most I taught when I was in the classroom is a life skills class. I taught people how to write a check. I gave a project to my students that said, pick a career that you wanted to have for yourself and go research it. How much money do they make? What does it cost to live? I did the whole episode from the Bill Cosby show years ago when Theo had to take the money and hold it up like this and live a life based on whatever he thought he was going to make. And that was the extent of it. I know math majors, finance majors, business majors, economic majors, and people do not have a clear understanding of personal wealth. And so what we've termed it is smart money moves. People need to understand whatever you do to build your wealth, you got to pay attention to a few basic principles, a few basic enemies that prevent people from having all that they're supposed to be able to have. So whether you build it through real estate, which I absolutely love, whether you build it through insurances, whether you build it through businesses, it doesn't matter. But as you're building your wealth, you have to make sure that you understand and apply these principles, okay? So we're gonna jump into a few things. So these are what we've termed as the 4 steps to create financial strength. And what I realized in my 10 year, I'm almost in my 10th year of doing this business, what I realized is that when people make money decisions, they make them in isolation. The problem with that is that you have this hand over here having a conversation, this hand over here talking, but they're not talking to each other. So you make a decision based on this and you totally forget about all the goals and dreams and plans that you had over here for this. That's the problem. So not that I necessarily or we necessarily can help you with every single economic, planning that you have for yourself, but it is very important that when you decide the things that are important to you, you look at everything as a whole. Okay, so that's why this is termed as the 4 steps. So again, and I didn't mention this, you guys, please, 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 no recording, no pictures. If you have any questions, if you want any information, please let us know. We are recording this for promotional purposes and we will have access to that. But please, please, things change all the time in the money world. That's why I had to quote my sources. If you have questions, ask us, you guys. Please, a lot of folks invited you, so make sure you guys reach out. But step 1, 2, 3, and 4, okay? Step 1 is very simple. Very, very simple. Manage your money wisely. There's a couple parts of this that are very important, but managing your money wisely is something I've learned over my years that is easier said than done. Okay. When it comes to managing your money wisely, do you spend more than you make or do you live below your means? Do you live right at your means? I like to ask people, do you have at the end of the month more money or more month? Okay. Do you have a good control on your debt? Do you manage it? Are all debts created equal? No, they're not. Do you have a proper emergency fund? When I got into the financial world, you guys, I got into the financial world because Los Angeles Unified with my 2 math degrees thought that I deserved, let me say it like that. They thought I deserved a $12,000 pay cut 3 months after I bought a home. And so for me, I wasn't prepared. Like I found a lot of people during COVID who lost their employment were not prepared. They did not have 3 to 6 months of an emergency fund. And so it became very imperative for me to build that emergency fund once I understood its true importance. Okay. The other thing when you're talking about managing your money wisely is understanding what are your true financial goals, not your dreams, but your goals. What is it exactly that you want to achieve? And do you have a true plan behind it? Do you know exactly crystal clear what you're going to do to achieve your goal? We're hoping that the resources we continue to provide you through this time together will help you to get your goals crystal clear. Okay. But you have to make sure how to understand your money and manage it wisely. Okay. Step 2 talks about protecting your income and your family. See, I'm single. I have no kids. Okay, love it that way. Most of you guys on here probably have husbands, wives, kids, all those wonderful people that are important to you. Okay, but for me, what's important is that I never become a burden on anyone financially. I never want to become a burden. And when I ask people, what is your biggest asset? What is the most important thing that you need to protect? In my opinion, and what I teach people all the time is it is your income earning ability. Should something happen to you, you pass away or you get sick or you're unable to work and provide the income you're providing, how does your family continue? So whatever financial planning you have done, whomever you sit down with, whatever goals you put in place, make sure you have a basic, proper understanding of the right kind of protection as your foundation. Whether you're building your wealth or whether you're preserving your wealth, you want to make sure you have that solid foundation, understanding how the different insurances work to provide you that protection. Okay. This is the part where it gets a little tricky, and it's so interesting because the words that I'm going to use, I'm going to go into a little bit of detail about these things, is they're all words that we've heard before. And that's why I say all the time, it's not just about knowledge. Okay, I'm going to go through a couple enemies that I found over my time that I was taught and started paying close attention to in my own finances while I'm accumulating my own assets and while working with other people. But most people aren't applying them, even though we know these words. So again, it's not about the knowledge, it's about the application of it. So here are those enemies, okay? 3 financial enemies. And I'm going to throw in a 4th one that I haven't even put on the slide, but I'm just going to give it to you for free, okay, at the end. But all of these words, inflation, taxes, and risk, we have all heard, okay? They're nothing new. But I guarantee you the majority of us are not applying them the way that we wish we could, or we would if we knew all of our options. And so again, I come from an education background. I don't believe that anybody should make money decisions without being educated, without being given their options. whenever you're doing planning, again, it doesn't matter which industry you're in, whether you're in the banking industry, the investment industry, the real estate industry, or the insurance industry, it does not matter. You have to understand your options so that you can make the best decisions for yourself. And whenever you're talking about accumulating assets, pay attention to these three things, okay? Because it says here, without proper planning, you will likely give up 50 to 60% of your money, not to yourself or your heirs, if you don't plan properly, okay? So we mentioned inflation. First thing with inflation is what? Everybody knows that the cost of goods and services goes up every year. I was telling my mom, she was seeing me prepare for this presentation, and my mom just turned 70 last year, so she'll be 71 this year. And as I was going through this, she was like, you know, I could get a car back in the day for $1,900. I'm like, Mommy, that's like a 2-3 leases a month. That's 1 month of a whole household full of cars. And you bought a whole car with 4 wheels, 4 doors, a trunk, and a hood. She was able to do that. I don't understand. $1,900. $1,900. I go grocery shopping. What I can put in the basket now is fewer than what I was able to put in before with the same $100. Okay, so why is that important? Because again, you guys have all heard this before. Why is that important? Because if you're accumulating assets, wherever you're building your wealth, wherever you're becoming economically empowered, you have to be outpacing inflation. You have to. You have to pay close attention to what your money is doing so that it has more value later and not less. Okay. My favorite part. Telling you guys, when I saw this information 9, almost 10 years ago, it totally blew my mind. Okay, because I know, I'm very well aware that I can't remember who created the saying, but there's 2 things in life that are guaranteed. What is that? Death and taxes. Okay,
and trouble.
And life isn't gonna be perfect.
Taxes, death, and trouble. That's Marvin Gaye. Just so you know.
I take that. If I knew that song, I would sing it, but I don't know.
Trouble Man.
But you guys, when it comes to taxes, okay, and please note, you all, I am not a licensed tax professional. I don't pretend to be, okay? But this is all information that you can find in the publication 590. You can Google it, you can figure it all out, but talk to your tax professional when deciding what to do when it comes to paying your taxes. However, these are the options that you have that exist out there as far as the timing of taxes, okay? So this first category, I understood, but very little, right? Tax now. This is money, because remember, we're talking about accumulating assets because we're trying to build Black economics, right? We're trying to empower ourselves. We're trying to create more assets. We're trying not to have a net worth of 0 by the time 2053 comes, okay? So when you have your money in a tax now account, you're paying taxes every single year in these accounts. So you make a little bit of money, earn something, you pay taxes. Next year, you make a little, you earn, you pay taxes. Okay, so it looks like this in this picture. Make a little, pay taxes, make a little, pay taxes, but every single year is happening. And again, I believe, my personal opinion is that when we're talking about money, smart money, you have to be able to diversify. And diversify does not mean one stock versus the other. It means utilizing all of these options to the best of your planning ability. That's what it means. Okay, so do we all have some sort of CD or savings account or mutual fund or stocks, bonds, business, real estate? Great. It's wonderful to have it. But just understand how they play into your full financial goal planning. Okay, then you have your second category, which most of us participate in, is what we call the tax later accounts. The tax later accounts are accounts that you put your money away and you defer the taxes on them. So you're not paying that every year, up, down, up, down, up, down. You are deferring the taxes. But what happens in this case, when you defer, you pay the taxes on the growth, on the harvest. So you see this picture here, you have the taxes come out on your entire harvest, which is the biggest circle. Is this good? Is this bad? I don't know. You decide what's best for you. But that's how we typically save our money. Okay, but then you have a third option, and this is what I was unaware of when I started accumulating my money, because I was, I think, my 9th year working for Los Angeles Unified when I came to an event similar to this. Okay, You had tax advantage. Tax advantage allows you to accumulate your money tax deferred, so the same as the second way, meaning that you don't pay taxes every year. However, when you get to your harvest, because you took care of it on the seed, you are able to access your money tax-free. So now you're getting to your harvest and you have it all green as opposed to a chunk of the blue. Okay. We know the typical accounts in the middle, the 401ks, the 403bs, the IRAs, the SEPs, TSPs, annuities, and anything that has some kind of crazy letters with it, in my personal opinion. Okay. But you have to understand how it works. This category tends to have a lot of vehicles that give you matching from your job. And free money is good money. But if you are doing more than free money, you got to consider what's best for your long-term planning. Okay. Why is it that we have tons of options in 1 and 2, but when it comes to our own long-term planning, the only 2 options we have in category 3 is the Roth IRAs and the cash value life insurance. See, 529 are for our kids. Municipal bonds are usually with the big company. So you just have to understand how you can play into each of these categories to do the best for you and for your situation. But you have to be given the information so you can apply it what's best for you. Okay. Where do you want your money? Okay. I asked a question and I brought up inflation before. How do we know, right, what the inflation rate's going to be later? How do we know what the tax rate's going to be later? Just a show of hands, right? Thumbs up or thumbs down. Okay. And I actually want to stop my share because I want to see some faces here. How many of us think that taxes are going to go up, stay the same, or go down? What do we think? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Most people are saying up. Even, thank you, Portia, even if it was before COVID happened, we still assumed taxes were going up. But since COVID, how much money have they printed? Not made, we make the money, we printed the money.
Trillions.
Trillions. I think the newest batch has got us up to 8 trillion. At some point in time, we have to pay that back. And how do we do it? What's the easiest way? Taxes. So you got to pay attention to that when you're putting your money in the accounts that allow you to wait till money grows big before you pay taxes. I'm gonna go back to sharing my screen. Hope this is good for you guys.
Excellent, excellent.
Thank you. I appreciate you. I like applause. It really does work for me. Thank you. Everybody has their love language, and words of affirmation are mine. So, all right, here we go. Got you back here. So now let's talk about risk, right? How many of you guys like roller coasters? I don't. I never did. I didn't like them when I was younger. I don't like them at 40. My head bangs against a thing. It makes no sense. It doesn't make sense, right? But so many of us, whether we like them or not at the amusement park, we are utilizing them for a lot of our planning for our future with the up and down. Okay. So when I do this, and I'm a numbers person, and it still never clicked to me until I truly sat down and really looked at my financial situation. Okay. And looked at the plans that I had in place at the time that I got this information. Okay. And I'm gonna look at the right side. It's easier for me to teach it. Okay. So on the right side, if you have an investment, right, where your money has a starting balance of 10,000 and you lose 50%. Okay. You lose 50%, you drop to 5,000. Most people, right? If I look back at the 5,000, let's look at year number 2. I have 5,000. It tells me that I have to earn 100%. I have to double my loss in order to get back to where I started. How often does the market ever double in return?
Doesn't.
It doesn't, exactly. Most people think if you have a 50% gain and a 50% loss, then you're even. That's not the case.
You're behind.
You're behind. And when we look at our plans, for those of us who do look at our plans, but most of us don't, but those of us that do look at our plans, we see that minus 50 plus 50 and we say 0. Oh, good. We're good. No, you're not. You're negative 25% behind. And imagine I put 3 zeros behind that. Your 25 or 25% loss is now 25,000 loss or 250,000 loss. It makes a really big difference when you're planning for your money if you don't pay close attention to the risk. Okay, so here's an option. Again, I said I'm all about options. I never understood or learned about this in school. And again, I've taught every level of math, but something called fixed index concept. It's a strategy that some companies are using, right? And these are million dollar, billion dollar, trillion dollar companies, carriers that are out there, right? I said there's 4 industries. You got your banks, your investments, your real estate, and your insurance. Those are the industries in which we accumulate assets. Well, the insurance industry offers this type of planning, and it's called fixed index. And it says, okay, this is an actual representation of the stock market led by the S&P 500 from 2000 to 2016. Okay, and so we all know, right? 2000 to 2002, what do we have? We have the I like to call it the Y2K problem, right? In 2000, people weren't sure how we were going to be able to put 2000 in a computer, and so we had that crash, right? Then we had 2001 was 9/11. Okay, so first part of this millennium, we had what? A drop. What is that? That's a $41,000 drop in your accounts if that's what you were using, the variable market. But if you understood or had the option of a fixed index product, then you were able to protect your money. So your 100,000 did not drop at all. Then what happens? The market goes back up. It's always going to go back up. That's what it does. It goes up, it goes down. It's always going to. But the question is it going to be up or going to be down when you need it? Okay. So instead of having to recover from that 59,000, if you have fixed index concept, you would have recovered from that 100, which is actually not a recovery. You just would have gone up. And then we know, again, the market's going to recorrect itself. So you drop, you don't have to. And when the market goes up again, you go up again. This concept, you guys, has been out since 1995. So in 2020 March, when COVID was announced, you would not have lost any money, like the money that was lost in the market at that time. 2008, 2001, 2000, like I remember, this is my inflation memory, right? If I go back to when 9/11 happened, I remember gas costing 87 cents. That was 2001. The market took a tank. But I would have been protected in my assets if I understood how this option works. So again, I told you guys, I like to see faces. So let me ask, is your preference blue line with the 1, that's the up and down, or orange line with the 2, that's up and up? Which one do you prefer? Again, it's up to you. I'm not telling you which one to do, but I believe in diversification. And if you have an option to be able to utilize the fixed index, and that's something you choose, why not? But it's because most of us don't get that option. We're not educated about that option. But once we do we apply it? Back to what Mr. Moses said. Are we going to apply the things that we learn? Do your research, figure that part out. But at least you now have the information. And I always like to say, if you know better, you do better. Okay, so let me share my screen again. So here, see if it clicks for me. There we go. So now we talk about step 4, okay? So we spent time going over just a few little concepts for us to actually look at and pay attention to more closely in our accumulation of assets. And this, you guys, those 3 enemies, it's not just for people who are accumulating. You also need to protect and preserve your assets and your legacy. What good does it do for you to work as hard as you work if you are not able to leave it behind the way that you choose or live on it for the rest of your life? So how do you set up your money and your wealth that you're building, right? This is all about building economic empowerment. What are you doing to preserve and protect your legacy? I posted today, I'm doing a 30-day tips that I'm posting on my social media accounts, right? Every day I want to give a tip out. And the tip that I gave today is, if you have life, then you need a living will and trust. You don't have to have a ton of assets. You don't have to have big assets in order to need a living will and trust. If you have life, that means death will come. You need a living will and trust. That's just one piece of the puzzle for preserving your legacy. You have to pay close attention to what your money is doing while you're accumulating it and while you're preserving it. Okay. What does your portfolio truly look like? And is it truly going to help you get to your goals and stay at your goals? And remember, I said I was going to give you a little secret, right? One extra enemy that I tell people to pay very, very close attention to. That enemy is procrastination. It is one of the biggest enemies to helping us accumulate wealth. Waiting 1 year does not limit you just 1 year of savings. It limits you 10, 20, 30% of compound interest on your money. You guys know how it is. Anybody who has a mortgage, if you wait the whole 30 years, how much are you going to pay in interest? Versus if you pay it down in 20 years or 15 years. What is the difference in interest paid if you go from a 30-year to a 15-year mortgage? It's the same when it comes to you saving for your future. You have to get as much time on your money as possible, as much compound interest as possible on your money. So procrastination is absolutely one of the biggest enemies that exist out there. Okay, I'm going to stop my screen and I'm going to ask for a few people to chime in for what questions may have popped out with you today, just in this short time together. I'm not here to talk to you all day and all night, and then we forget, because I know our attention spans. I told you guys I was a teacher. Your attention span is your age, and you cut that in half. So let's figure this out, right? Anybody have any questions, comments, issues, or concerns for me? Thoughts that popped out at you in any of the information that I've shared with you tonight?
Yes, Helena, first of all, excellent presentation.
Thank you.
I'd like for you to, for those who may not know,
Mhm.
I'm guessing that maybe the majority know, but in case we have someone on there that doesn't know about the rule of 72, could you explain that?
I absolutely can explain it. Here's the funny part, Moses. The fact that and I say this not to brag, but I say it to say what I paid for with my degrees. I have 2 math degrees, and nowhere in any of my classes was I taught the rule of 72.
I know you were.
Nowhere. Okay. And it's really funny because it was actually created by the Babylonians and it was proven by Albert Einstein, right? But what it says is whatever interest rate you get on your money, you divide that into 72, and that's how long it takes your money to double. Okay, so let's pay attention to this, right? I'm visual, right? I didn't feel like putting in a slide, so I'm going to draw it. Thank you, Mr. Moses. Give me a second.
You're welcome.
Okay, 72. Yep, you want to work today? Okay, good. 72 divided by 1%. Okay, that's what we earn in the bank. 72 divided by 1%, and you're lucky if you get 1%. You're really, really lucky if you get 1%. You're the VIP client, right? Divide that and you get what? 72. That means if your money is earning that, it is going to take you 72 years for your money to double. 72 years. Who in here has 72 years to let their money double? My nephew is 1 year old. He doesn't have 72 years to wait before his money doubles. But I can only imagine if your interest rate is negative, which in some of those accounts that we looked at where it went down, then what? You're sitting here with umpteen years before your money doubles. But here's the difference. 1% difference makes the difference of tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. So you now have, let's say 72 divided by a very simple number. Let's just say 7%, okay? And by the way, those fixed index vehicles that are out there that exist that have been around since the 90s, they average between about 7 and 10. And so let's say and that's over a 20-year period, okay? So let's say on the low end, we have 7%. That means now your money is doubling in every 10 years. Okay. So when I pay attention to how much time I have for my money and where I really am on growing my money, am I getting enough interest, meaning which vehicles am I in? Am I paying attention to that? How much money do I have at this point? And what do I have to do differently to get my money where it's supposed to be so that it can double in however many years it needs to double? Because at the end of the day, what did I say from the very beginning? Step one, you must have crystal clear financial goals. And that could be for anything: retirement, pay off debt, leave a legacy, college funding for kids, second income properties, building businesses. Doesn't matter, you guys. Whatever your financial goals are, if you don't sit down with someone and get them truly, truly planned out and make sure they're making you pay attention to how these different options work. If you are only being offered one of the options, you need to yell. Holler for help. If you are talking to someone and they are only offering you variable, problem. Only offering you fixed index, problem. Only offering you fixed, problem. Only offering you 1%, problem. Only offering you one type of insurance, problem. You have to be educated and given options, because how do you know that Mr. Moses' situation is requiring the same type of planning that mine is? Everything has to be dealt with differently. So while we are helping you to build as much economic empowerment as we can by all the resources we are bringing you, you have to take the time to slow down and truly sit down to look at your portfolio. And the great thing about it is that most of us that have invited you here can help you do that. It's what we do. That is what we do. It is about being a resource for the community. It is about making sure that you have all your options given. And let me tell you guys, I have helped clients from 0 years old because their parents decided to do some planning very early to, I think my oldest client is 83. So when it comes to looking at your financial situation and doing your goal setting, it's all different based on your situation. But you need to take the time to slow down and truly look at what you want for yourself. And if earning more money is a part of the solution, I encourage you to think about the financial industry. Like our mission says, if you want to be a part of the change, get in the industry that changes it. You're going to hear from an excellent real estate investor next week. You're going to hear 2 weeks from now, as Lisa said, from an excellent gentleman, Chris, who has $150 million to give away to Black entrepreneurs. You're telling me that that can't help you get started to start accumulating assets better, differently, more? But I'll tell you guys this, every single one of us that has any kind of financial goals for ourselves, make sure you protect it with the right kind of insurance. Make sure you have your planning in place for your solid foundation. But that's what we're here for, you guys, is to be a resource. Build Black economic empowerment. I think most of you guys, if you weren't on, we talked last time on our fourth, episode, on our fourth part of our series in February about Black Wall Street. How many of you guys know about Black Wall Street? Tulsa, Oklahoma. Everybody knows that this year is the 100-year anniversary of that. So you got to stay tuned after this 3-part series is up for our announcements on our next event, which is going to go into detail about how to become an entrepreneur, about how to become successful. Because you guys, whether you know it or don't know it, we had it all. We Black people had every single business that existed. Every one of them. Every one of them. And so we have an opportunity to get that back. But you got to understand how the industry works. Okay? I so appreciate you guys. If I have no more questions, I will turn that back over to Miss Lisa. But go ahead, Mr. Linden. I'll take one more question.
Okay, real quick here.
Uh-huh.
So as far as the insurance goes,
Yes, sir.
what would be the qualifications?
It all depends. It all depends. Everybody's situation is different when it comes to qualifying for insurance, when it comes to what they need. right? And I always tell people that all insurances are not created equal. I was speaking on one of my real estate professional partners last Tuesday, and we were having a conversation about so many of the insurances are just attached to housing, life insurance being one of them. So we don't know. Your age matters, what you wanted to do matters, it all matters. But that's why we do our follow-ups. Once you understand that there is something that you need to look at in your portfolio differently, then make sure you reach out to the person that invited you and get the information, because we have it. We are the resource, or we will send you to the correct resource for whatever it is that you need. Okay, but very good question. You guys, I really appreciate you. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to do my absolute favorite thing, which is speaking to you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will pass it back over to our dynamic, awesome, beautiful, lovely, wonderful Miss Lisa McCombs to send us.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Now, wasn't she awesome and amazing? I think that's worthy of everybody unmuting your microphone and giving her a shout, a yay, a hooray, a clap. Let it hear it. Let's give it up. That was awesome.
Miss Teacher. Excellent.
I want to take a screenshot of us. If you guys don't mind, if you mind, and turn your camera on, but I want to see as many faces as possible. If you don't mind, turn your camera on. I'd love to see more faces. Thank you, Brandy. I appreciate you. Let me get that face in there. So here we go. Everybody get a smile. I'm gonna take a couple of them because we have more than one set of pictures here. So here's one. Make sure you smile. 1, 2, smile. There we go. Let me get one more on the next page. Hold on. I'm gonna come back just in case you didn't get your best smile. Okay, here we go. We're gonna do one more. All right. Keep it for like 5 seconds. Okay. 1, 2, I'm click and then you keep smiling. Y'all so cute. I love it. I appreciate you. I'm sorry, Lisa. I just always forget to do that. So don't finish up.
I'm glad that you did. I think what's so wonderful about how you share with us the power of having crystal clear goals, because sometimes we don't understand the difference between goals and dreams. We think about, oh, I have a dream to do this and that, but goals are clear. They're concise. They have deadlines. They're written down. So I really appreciate you sharing that. In addition to how we must outpace inflation, put our money in a place that's going to outpace inflation, preserve our income streams, and protect it from taxation, in addition to protecting our money from risk, and the power of index strategies whereby we have upside gains and no downside losses. That is awesome and amazing. That's the power of what we provide. So now that we have the knowledge, we have to apply the knowledge that we have. So I encourage you to get with the person that invited you, quick, fast, and in a hurry to schedule an appointment so that you can have a personal financial checkup. And what I also would like to do is give the opportunity for each and every one of our founding members to have a word to share with you. And we're going to start with Anita Ferns.
Greetings, everyone. You guys, thank you so much for coming. The founders here, we just love to have and invite you here to share with us. We have some really big things planned for you, and your days ahead of you are going to be greater than your days behind, because the information that you're learning here, you can take for yourself and then give it to your next generation and the next generation. So we're all about making impacts on our lives and then everyone around us. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for sharing, Anita. Now we're going to have Jill Johnson.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for attending. And I just want to make sure that we don't forget, we have such a wealth of knowledge, and the speakers we have are always amazing. And I know everyone heard Miss Helena J, and you're like, man, I wish I could have had somebody else that needed to hear this. We're going to have a lot more of these, and we're going to have them on record so we can upload them to you. So make sure we have your contact information, and let's just continue to connect. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. And last but not least, Ms. Wavette Johansson.
Hello, everybody. You know, this session, you guys, warms my heart, and I look forward to it. Every single series we have, you guys, it is about Black economic empowerment. As founders, that's what we stand for. You know, B is not, you guys, just a slogan. This is what we stand for. And as Lisa said, you guys, it's the 100th anniversary. You Guys, the 100th anniversary of Black Wall Street. And it's time to make a change. And whoever talked about that song, it's time to make a change, and we are the people who will do it. That's by the Wynant. That's our theme song. So thank you guys all for being here. You guys, please tell more people to come next week. This information, you guys, we need to hear it. And we need to hear you guys over and over and over again until we apply it to our lives and those around us. So we look forward, you guys, to next Wednesday, how to invest out of state. We're going to have Miss Rhea Cotton come on, you guys. Powerful, powerful Black woman, making a lot of you guys changes in our community. So please come next week, you guys. And please, you guys, bring a friend. Matter of fact, bring like 2 or 3 friends, you guys. Let's make sure, you guys, that we are spreading the word to our community about B. Thank you, Lisa.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing. Our mission is to be able to reach 1,000 people within a very short period of time. We cannot do this by ourselves. It takes the village to be able to do this together. So we encourage you to invite as many people that you have in your contacts, maybe on social media, perhaps on your phone, whatever the case may be, people that you know will be of benefit to this information. We cannot just hoard it to ourselves. We have to share. That's how Black Wall Street built, by each one connecting up with another, helping one another. And together, we have to do this thing. In order for us to not meet our goal, but to exceed it, we need each and every one of you participating. So next week, we look forward to having maybe at least 3 times more people. Why? Because each one of you are going to reach out to others and spread the wealth of information. And the beautiful thing about it, it doesn't cost you anything but time. And what we're not going to do, we're not going to procrastinate. We're going to connect with the person who invited us right away, and we're going to connect with others. So whatever link you receive to receive this information, share that link with others so that they can receive the information. And on that note, may each and every one of you have yourself a thankful Thursday, and I look forward to seeing you 1 week from today with others, with more. Have a good one. Enjoy.
Thank you, Lisa. Great job.
Thank you so much.